What do I sit here or I sit there? I forget.
Yeah, do that. Move over so you can see the shades. That's good.
Let's see. This is too bright.
Do that.
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
All right.
You're going.
Not yet.
You're going live.
We're on live now?
Yeah, you're on live.
Hi, guys. We'll start in about 3 minutes. We just want to make sure everything worked. And we adjust. So I'll be doing the class tonight. Venerable Vreeland is doing a job for the Tibet Center. So we wish him well. This light color is weird. Let's see what we can do. That's worse. That's better. We're live. Be quiet. Watch your language. That's the way it is these days.
Everything's good.
Oh, we have the prayers.
Yeah.
Watch the cat when you open the door. Hi, Steve. The gates.
That was insane. It was a solid hour drive. That's all the traffic for.
You never know. On the garden stuck.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, one here.
See you.
Good to see you, Steve. 2 more minutes, guys. Darren, the food's vegetarian. Help yourself. Before Lavinia eats the oven itself. Buddy, be quiet. We have a cat, for those of you who don't know, that the meow you hear is not my stomach, it's a cat. Lenovo, yeah, we're live. It's a new machine.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a Lenovo.
it's a major improvement.
We hope.
Well, it seems to be. The visual stuff from my hand is.
Oh, good. All right, come on. "15 seconds, guys." Good evening. This is Kunchab Tarduling, or the Tibet Center, a Buddhist meditation and study center located in New York City and northern New Jersey. And this is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma. Specifically, we've been going through the Lamrim Chenmo, or Stages on the Path to Enlightenment, for those who are new. And we're in the Insight, Volume 3 section. I will not be going from the book tonight exactly, although I have it here. I'm going to fill in, because Venerable Vreeland's doing a very good job going through the actual chapters one by one. So while he's still here, we'll let him lead. But what I'll do is clear up some of the points that are made in the Lamrim that maybe a little more practical advice about how to meditate on things, etc. Also, though, we'll talk a little bit about the purpose of prayer in this day and age with all the wars and everything going on. What can we do? Well, we can pray, and there's a reason why. We'll hear from that. So first, if you have anyone for whom you want us to pray for who has passed away, put their name in the chat box as soon as possible. All the prayers we say are on the Tibet Center website. In the FAQ section, scroll down to prayers. Any problems with the transmission, sound, light, etc., so forth, text me or Darren Smith. Don't call, because it'll throw the offline. So we'll start. Prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious 3 precious gems and of the truth of our pure, selfless wishes. May the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living there, together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them. May all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas, called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness. No eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future by means of transcendent knowledge fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequal mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, mahasattva, should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva, mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family. Profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. Gesundheit. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and the Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Refuge in Bodhisattva vow. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So tonight, in true ecumenical fashion, we'll be hearing from Enigma, Kargu, and a Gelugpa, and His Holiness, who's a combination of everything. First of all, and you know what's going on in the world, in Washington, in Ukraine, and everything. It's a mess. So what can we do? This is advice from Pema Wangyal, who's the son of, what's the name? His real name is Kanjo Rinpoche, excuse me. One of the teachers, the first teacher actually of Matthew Ricard. This is in the tradition of Zapatral Rinpoche, but in a modern idiom. Zapatral Rinpoche was talking 150, 20 years, 200 years ago, 150 years ago, to a very old society. This is a modern 20th century, 21st century presentation, the same ideas. His name is Pema Wangyal, and the book is Awakening Wisdom. It's like a mixture of method and wisdom. So I'm not going to read the opening poem that he wrote because it goes on and on. So let's cut to the chase. This is the preamble. So if we each aimed for the best in us, wouldn't that be the most certain way to make the world better? So the world's there. We're part of it. We're not separate. This whole idea that the separation, us and them, starts all the trouble. This and that starts all the trouble. So, but we are so taken up by everyday life, Pema Wangyal continues, that it prevents us from getting to know ourselves. I would like to thank those who are going to take the time by reading, practicing, to look inside themselves. I would like to encourage them to watch the nature of their minds with the intention of helping others as much as themselves. Starts at home. He continues, our lifespan is limited and time is necessarily precious. Life continues for as long as the vital energies in our body are in balance, but its end depends on our past deeds, where it winds up, in other words, what he's talking about, where the next life happens. This relative shortness of life makes every hour, every minute, even ordinary ones, extraordinarily precious. How much more so for the time we spend looking inside ourselves and that we dedicate to the happiness of all beings. An instant altruistic thought of this sort has an unimaginable effect. We can't think this physical world. There's different rules. This is something else. This is the inner world that's actually running the whole show. So every fruit starts from a seed. The same is true for actions and their results. And our intentions count as much as the deeds they motivate, if not more. Take, for example, of an action we might call positive. If it is motivated by an evil intention, it will not result in anything truly beneficial. Undertaken indifferently, such an act will not give a very great result. On the other hand, if it is inspired by an intention that is fundamentally kind, its power and impact will be considerably strengthened. A magnificent garden is always the result of careful preparation. We need to till the earth, add fertilizer, have Tenzin do the work, check the seed, that the seed is in good condition, and so on. In the same way, if we prepare our spiritual practice by opening ourselves to all beings, we will naturally reap happy results. Just stop for a minute. I'm doing this for everyone. Everyone. All means all. That's it. Split second thought, then move on. Some people might wonder why we should care about all beings. After all, we have no obvious connection with them, and moreover, a relationship can change from one day to the next. Oh yeah. The extraordinary harmonious relationships that people sometimes have, in fact, originate in the mutual kindness that they showed each other in previous lives. This framework of positive action has produced an energy that is now being expressed in their current affectionate relationships. Nevertheless, it also happens that loved ones turn against those close to them, even to the point of their not being able to speak to each other anymore. We've all been there. This is because the positive energy that was produced between them in the past has now run out. And from then on, for a certain amount of time, there will be another kind of relationship between them. Past actions, results, they play out. New actions, results play out. That's it. Don't think that the ego could stop this or that. Yes, it has an effect, but he's giving us very good instruction. All this is explained in detail in the teachings of the Buddha. The Sanskrit word Buddha refers to someone who is fully enlightened, who has cleared away all their mental obscurations and allowed every possible good quality to develop, sometimes called fully evolved. So we all go there eventually. Those who attain this level remain in a continuous state of wisdom and clarity, so that the past, present, and future are revealed to them, enabling them to see and, if necessary, explain the way in which each being, human or otherwise, is related to all other beings who are infinite in number, as infinite as space. Something else is going on in the mind besides the conceptual mind that we work with. There's another quality we have to develop that allows this to happen. With this in mind, before doing anything, whether mundane or spiritual, we should always begin by checking our mind to check our motivation. As I just mentioned, our attitude can be good, bad, or neutral. Depending on what it is, we should reinforce it or transform it so that we develop an immense feeling of kindness, offering all beings the time and energy that we are about to put into whatever we are doing. Split second, you don't have to run out and buy anything, just change your attitude. The results are immense. You might be wondering how for a few seconds of positive thought could change the world. Yeah, well, we might not change the face of the earth, but what we should understand is that the mind has immense power. If you think about it, you can see how harmful thoughts are behind most of the disasters that happen. Read the news. You don't have to say anymore. He continues, benevolent thoughts are just as powerful, but with an opposite effect. So it is important to foster them. The less tense the mind is, this is very good advice here, the more powerful will be our benevolent thoughts. And altruistic thoughts are never alone, because the presence and power of all the enlightened beings reinforces their effects. They know what you're doing. They want to help. They're there. You join them. So, with this in mind, we should begin by developing a positive motivation. Then, during the practice, we should stay in the present moment, here and now, in the fresh and natural state. Okay, we've heard this. This takes some doing and some practice. Always check the mind, what's going on. Am I fresh? Am I just mailing it in? This only we can do. The results are tremendously beneficial. And at the end, we should conclude by dedicating the result of the practice to all beings with a deeply loving attitude. These three supreme methods, as they are known in the Tibetan tradition, are indispensable for all spiritual practice. Some people might find it difficult to transform a negative state of mind into a positive one. For others, it might be easier, depending on your past background. Being conscious of your inner attitude is already a step in the right direction. When you find it hard to change your outlook immediately, learn to react by wishing to be useful to yourself and to others. A wish, that's all. Such a thought will leave an imprint on the ground consciousness. He's talking seriously now, which will later make it easier to give rise to a positive attitude. So everything we do is not wasted. No. To understand the importance that the teachings accord to having the right motivation, you need only to ask yourself whether it is the body that governs the mind or the other way around. Most of the time, our mind is behind our actions. Our mental attitude has the key role. If we plant the seed of a medicinal herb, it will surely grow into a medicinal plant. On the other hand, a poisonous plant can only produce poisonous fruit. Once we establish a positive attitude, the crucial point during the meditation is to be in the present moment, here and now. And that's an art that you develop, and it's beneficial. Someone's complaining. We lose the picture. Is it Eugene? Oh, Eugene is interrupting. Never mind. Mind and body should stay in the same place. Big point. And that's why just watching the breath does something. It puts the mind and body together. Body is the breath. Mind watching it is the mind. Together, that's very rare. We're usually not in sync. The mind's running over here, body's doing. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, very beneficial. So that might seem obvious, he said, but unless we carefully watch our mind, it is often difficult to know where it is. The mind wanders all over the place, lingering over memories or shooting off into the future. Being present means bringing the mind back to where the body is and concentrating on what we are doing. You like driving for it. For this, we should not forcefully constrain the mind, nor should we allow it to do whatever it wants. It is a simple question of leaving it in the present moment, here and now, and that is an art, as much as like learning to draw a line or something. It's an art, but you do it with practice. Everyone's done it in the past. At the end, the practice concludes with the altruistic thought, may this action become an inexhaustible source of beneficial results, peace, and happiness for everyone, not just Harry. Everyone, you got it. You know the result of actions that have been sealed in this way will never get lost. Their energy will be shared with all the beings in the universe. Just as a drop of water that falls into the ocean will last until the ocean runs dry, a kind wish invested in the universal bank of positive aspirations will never be spent. Invest in it. It's a sure thing, I guarantee. Dedicating an action in this way increases its power and produces significant results. Not hard to do, very easy. These three supreme methods are not limited to spiritual practice. We can also apply them to all our daily activities, even ones that seem quite insignificant. Michelle always used to say, well, I'm taking a bath so I can be beneficial sentient beings. I'm eating good food now, so I'll be strong enough to help sentient beings. That's all. Slight attitude adjustment, and you're on your way. Suffering in prayer. Let's see how much time we have. Yeah, no, we got time. This is from this book. I think I held it up, Awakening Wisdom. Available at fine gas stations everywhere. No, it's very useful. Now, what about prayer? I'm saying prayers for the people fighting on both sides in the Middle East, in Ukraine, and all the people who just suffering. I pray. What good does it do? Here's his take on it. Everyone knows that two sufficiently sensitive persons can communicate mentally when they are on the same, quote, wavelength. Prayer works on the same subtle level. Whether it takes the form of words, mantras chanted or aloud or recited silently, a single thought or a heartfelt wish, it derives its power from the depths of the mind, from our own minds. The closer the mind is to its state of natural simplicity, the greater is the prayer's dynamic power and effectiveness. Now, Buddhism presents very many levels of mind, more and more subtle, but they're all connected. Like waves, choppy, the bottom of the ocean, the bottom is very still. However, same water. So there's a connection, but the stillness of the ocean is a lot different than the violent waves on the surface. Similarly, our minds, bouncing all over the place, have to be contained. So we go to the more and more subtle levels. That's where the power lies. That's where universality is. Ooh. We all have the same mind, even animals. So. Having more positive, the mind state has a profound influence on the action. Having more positive thoughts makes it possible to transform negativity. Prayers that make use of mantras transmitted by enlightened beings carry great force, for each syllable, each word, each phrase, and even the melody has been consecrated with powerful blessings. What is prayer for? It is a precious aid if we want to get rid of suffering. It is not hard to be acutely conscious of suffering when it manifests openly, and it is natural to want to get rid of it, of course. Or am I this, or am I back? Yes. But the most important thing is to recognize the causes of suffering and to wish that they too will be removed as soon as possible. Put the prayer to work. The source of people's general lack of security is the 5 poisons present in their minds. On an external level, these leads to all kinds of disasters, while internally they give rise to mental disturbances. There's your connection, inner and outer world. Now, prayer has the power to quell or transmute these poisons and thus to wipe out suffering. The Buddhist teachings speak of 4 great rivers of suffering that sweep beings along: birth, aging, illness, and death. We've heard this. Each one of us goes through these 4 experiences in the course of our lives. So I won't go through the 4 of them because we all got the idea. Suffering of birth, which sometimes in the West is a big deal, but the people say, no, this person born in samsara has work to do. So I'll skip. Other afflictions are termed minor, but they are hardly less of an ordeal than the ones we have just mentioned. Large number of beings live in insecurity and destitution, rejected, friendless, homeless, with not even the strict minimum to live on. Others may enjoy great wealth and social position, but they live in constant fear of being robbed and are forever obsessed with losing their status. That's samsara. Yippee. Those who are surrounded by family and friends fear the day that they will be separated. Conversely, there are many who live dreading that they will find themselves face to face with those they fear or hate. Your boss. Anyway, the teachings also mention 3 great evils that have always afflicted beings: war, famine, and epidemics. We seem to have them in spades these days. In your prayers, wish from the depth of your heart that the 4 great rivers dry up of birth, sickness, age, and death. That plus dry up so that no being will ever have to go through such experiences. Just a wishing prayer, but you more deep you go down, more power. Send out positive thoughts towards those who suffer. May all kinds of fear, pain, and disasters, natural and otherwise, vanish. It's only a thought, but thoughts run the world eventually. It doesn't happen instantly because we're all sitting here trying this ourselves, and the wars rage eventually. So the 5 poisons, and above all, aversion, attachment, and ignorance, hinder prayer and kind thoughts. The exercises described above are the best way to prepare yourself so that your prayers are effective and have helpful results. Breathing out enables you to expel polluted energy and to undo the knots in the subtle channels. He's giving a little tantric technique here. After that, it is important to try to balance and calm the mind by alternating between concentrating on the breath and relaxing. Then try to feel the presence of enlightened beings with whose light you are filled and purified, and they are there. We can't see them. We're obscured. They're there. They want to help us, the ability to help us, etc. So just put that thought in your mind. No alienation here. We're on the right track, and will be helped. If you use these techniques as preliminaries, your prayers and wishes will be more powerful. Another very effective method consists of combining one's prayers with the breath in the practice of Tonglen, which will be explained later. And we've had Tonglen. Bring in suffering, give happiness. Always take suffering first. So there's a nice canvas to put the happiness on. Okay. Another very effective method. Yeah, we did this. Do not forget to conclude by dedicating all your positive thoughts to peace in the universe. You might be wondering how thoughts can be of any help in the face of so much suffering anywhere. The task seems so enormous. At any given moment, somewhere or other on earth, there are people dying of hunger and others being killed or dying from disease. How can our thoughts help them? Each one of us is closely related to all the beings in the universe. You got to think big. This is why it is important to think of everyone's welfare. Thoughts of love and compassion sent out by a mind that is concentrated, clear, and free of tension are extremely powerful. When beings are tormented by hunger, war, or the inability to communicate, it is their minds that experience the sufferings. Their minds experience the sufferings, whether physical or mental. Without a mind, the body can't suffer. At death, the mind separates from the body, and as we all know, the corpse does not feel pain. Since it is the mind that experiences suffering, positive thoughts can help to bring relief. And he concludes, the results of one's prayers depend on the mental power and fitness gained through constant training. And there it is. There are many traditions that recognize the ability of the greatest sages to calm others' sufferings or to take it on themselves, not just Buddhism. This power is accessible to everyone. It is simply a question of practice. We can bring peace to others only if we have found it ourselves. So that's a conclusion. It's a very practical advice in this all the junk that's going on now. uh, we've been studying emptiness, right? So what does emptiness have to do about compassion? You might make the mistake of thinking if everything is empty, there's no compassion, nothing exists, and blah, blah, blah. Here's a little advice from the Kargyuk camp. This is from a book called A Song for a King, Khenchen Trungul Rinpoche. This is from page 60. Saraha wrote this song. Saraha was a Mahasiddha long, long ago. He was Nagarjuna's teacher. Nagarjuna also has a Mahasiddha identity. I don't know what his name is, but he's one of the 80 Mahasiddhas, besides being the great scholar. So Saraha wrote a song for the common man, song for the queen, song for the king. It's Mahamudra. What is Mahamudra? Quick. Working on the emptiness of the mind, studying emptiness with regard to the emptiness of the mind. That's very quick, and I don't know much about it, so just what I read in books. So the problem is we never looked into our mind. This is page 60. We have always turned and looked outward or away from it. This is the meaning of the 13th verse. I'm not going to go with the 13th verse, although it's cryptic. I'll give it to you. First the thing, and in the end, a non-thing. Neither is established. Likewise, there is nothing other than these two. You see where Nagarjuna's got his technique from? There is no place to abide in the beginning, middle, or end. For those whose minds are obscured by continual concepts, emptiness and compassion are expressed in words. That's very heavy. So let's just see. What qualities are produced by meditation on emptiness? This is the question on page 60, mid-page. The purpose of Dharma is to help others, and the root of this is compassion. But if all things are empty, and if the emptiness of things is realized, is there then no object and therefore no root of compassion? We all ask, and the answer is, this verse answers the question in the negative. As the third Karmapa, Rangjung Dorje, pointed out in his aspiration prayer of Mahamudra, the very recognition of emptiness itself is the root of compassion. Sounds like Chandrakirti, has the highest compassion, understanding the unapprehendable. So this very recognition of emptiness itself is the root of compassion. How? Why? This is because the realization of the mind's empty nature and the realization of phenomena's empty nature produces a state of well-being and tranquility in the mind. No. Disturbing emotions and suffering are pacified, and this causes all manner of positive qualities to develop within the mind. When we realize the true nature of mind, we gain the understanding that all beings, without exception, possess this same nature, this same potential to achieve all the positive qualities through realization. At the same time, we realize that only those few fortunate individuals who recognize the nature of mind have all their suffering pacified, and so compassion arises for those who have not attained this realization. The highest level of compassion, apprehending the inapprehendable, compassion observing the inapprehendable. They don't know that they suffer needlessly. What kind of compassion comes up then in the mind of someone who's really realized and sees that? The highest. So there is the connection. So we shouldn't make these separations that aren't there and just can make ourselves nuts. No. Do we have time? Oh, plenty of time. Oh, we have plenty of time. What is it like if you realize emptiness? Well, I'm not telling you. I forgot the page. I wrote it down. Good thing I wrote the page. 144. No. Here it is. This is from a book called The Two Truths. All it is a quote from the Ratnakuta Sutra. Page 110. I got all kinds of marks here, and then none of them are helping me. There's a sutra called the Ratnakuta Sutra, or Heap of Jewels Sutra. It's a Mahayana sutra. It's translated from the translation by Garma Chang from the Tibetan. It's also been translated to Chinese. It's a wonderful sutra, very voluminous, very big. This is a section of this text called Transcending Conceptual Elaboration. So this is right from the Buddha, talking to Subhuti. Manjushri said, Subhuti, the five aggregates belong to causes and conditions. Okay, we can do a little meditation now as we go along. Five aggregates are like a body and mind conglomerate that we have, the physical form and the mental parts. They belong to causes and conditions. If they belong to causes and conditions, they do not belong to oneself or others. There's not this ego grasping of it. No. If they do not belong to self and others, they have no owner. If they have no owner, there was no one who grasps them. If there is no grasping, there is no contention. And non-contention is the practice of religious devotees or devotees. Step back. You realize that it's not my this, my that, it's just flow of cause and effect. Without the ego there, of course, there's no grasping. The user's watching the play of appearance and emptiness. So just as a hand moving in empty space. Now think of this, because this is the image we should hold for about a minute in our minds. Just as a hand moving in empty space touches no object and meets no obstacles, so the bodhisattvas who practice the equality of emptiness transcend the mundane world. They are not grabbed by anything. They are not, attached or averted, have attachment aversion to anything. Their minds, their thoughts are like empty space, moving, flowing freely. This is right from a sutra a long time ago. Sounds very modern. And so if you have time, it's very beneficial to read sutras like the Ratnakuta, so well translated by Goma Chang. It's University of Pennsylvania Press. But this is quoted in its book, The Two Truths Debate, which is driving me nuts because I'm not that smart. I'm plodding through it, but I asked Nikki's advice on it. So that little piece is very interesting. What we think is ours and everything has no owner, no inherent owner, no heart. You release that, you release a lot of tension and problems. You haven't built a fort that you're defending that really doesn't exist. Well, after this or this, and let it go. Anyway, we have been talking. We'll bring it now back to what we've been studying, thanks to His Holiness Dalai Lama. This is volume 7. It's actually volume 8. What am I talking about? Volume 8. I can't even read. Of a series that His Holiness did with Tibetan children. It's going to be 10 volumes. The 10th will be on Tantra. This is called Realizing the Profound View. And I grabbed it because he's talking about the object of negation here. Volume 7. I put volume 7. It's not even volume 7. What is wrong with it? Remember Nikki was talking last night, Venerable Nikki, I should say, let's be nice, about when you meditate on emptiness, you have to be careful not to obliterate conventional reality. You have to use the right reasoning at the right time. When you analyze conventional reality, you use conventional reasoning. Normal. When you analyze its nature, the way things are, their mode of being behind their appearance, then you use ultimate analysis. That ultimate analysis is only valid or is only an authority for the mode of being of something, not its actual appearance. So if you use that ultimate analysis and apply it to ordinary things, there's nothing there, and that's it. You fall to nihilism. So this is page 299 of volume 8. The way illusion-like appearances arise. Things are like an illusion. Oh. If we have time, I can even elaborate. Let's see if I can get away with it. No. Okay, I will. Page 298 will start a lead, and we have time. This will be, I won't go to the other text I have. We may have unusual experiences, His Holiness says, in meditation or in special situations, but we must be careful not to confuse these with the illusion-like appearances of yogis who have realized emptiness. Be careful. During meditation, sometimes people may feel that they are floating in space. Oh, their body disappears. Their sense of self is diffuse, or the things around them are insubstantial. After taking certain drugs or when delirious with fever, people may experience hallucinations in which they see people who aren't there or feel that the environment around them is flowing here and there. Hey guys, get out the bongos. After hearing unexpected tragic news, people may feel that everything around them is unreal and like a dream. Yeah, big shock to the mind. Maybe you've had this happen. And people overwhelmed by anger or grief may experience chaotic appearances. None of these is what is meant by meditation on illusion-like emptiness. That's it. Prior to knowing that phenomena are like illusions, yogis must have realized emptiness either inferentially or directly. This depends on correctly identifying the object of negation. Yay, we've been going on in class with the last few weeks. Having an incorrect notion of the object of negation, the object is inherent existence. John, a generic John analyzes if his body is the same as its parts. Not finding his body among his parts, he can conclude that there's no body. Then why are you so fat? No. He then applies the same analysis to himself, the analyzer, and then not finding himself in the aggregates, concludes that he's also not here, and that therefore no one knows that neither the body nor he as analyzer exists. That's right, I'm not here. From this, he absurdly concludes that things are neither existent nor non-existent. Obviously, a wrong turn was taken. His Holiness continues, page 298. See, since he has no way to determine whether things exist or not, the objects around him begin to appear to his mind as shimmering, ephemeral appearances. I'm not sure that all of a sudden things are, I'm onto something. No. That are like vague, insubstantial drawings, these things. It seems to him that everything lacks solidity and nothing can be identified as either this or that. This sounds good. I would wouldn't mind finding this out. Although seeing phenomena as less solid may sometimes be considered a, quote, good meditative experience, it is not the meaning of phenomena dawning as illusion-like. So this is a very precise definition here, and he's trying to explain it out for us. Bless him. Thank him so much. Rather, these strange appearances arise due to not properly identifying the object of negation and being unable to differentiate existence and true existence on the one hand, and non-existence and emptiness on the other. Explained nicely here, though. Another misinterpretation of illusion-like appearances occurs when, instead of refuting true existence, some meditators negate too much and fall to the extreme of nihilism or nihilism, however. The, quote, emptiness they perceive destroys dependent existence, and the mind doesn't conceive anything at all. When they arise from this meditation, things appear insubstantial like rainbows or like smoke, light smoke, not solid and obstructive as before. Appearing empty of coarse solidity is not illusion-like appearance. We all thought it was. He's saying, no, it's not. If it were, we wouldn't see rainbows as truly existent. Interesting to think about this. If it were, we wouldn't see rainbows as truly existent. And if the non-existence of coarse obstructiveness were the emptiness of true existence, when we analyze obstructive objects, we would conclude that the mere lack of solidity would be their emptiness. And thus we couldn't realize their emptiness of true existence. Such experiences are divorced from the realization of emptiness and the experience of illusion-like appearances. So these are wrong turns that look good. Fool's gold, whatever you want to call it. Things in the store, for instance. The way illusion-like appearances arise. Now he's going to come to the point. When engaging in ultimate analysis, it is fairly easy to draw the wrong conclusion that phenomena are neither existent nor non-existent. Then what? And in dependence on this, experience shimmering exotic appearances. This happens to people interested in the middle way who have heard a few teachings on emptiness. Having heard of the importance of differentiating true existence and conventional existence, they repeat those words but don't really understand the meaning. Instead of using ultimate analysis to refute true existence, they apply to conventional existence and fall to nihilism. True existence are things, thinking that things actually are the way they appear. And that's why conventional things don't exist the way they appear, but their appearance is valid. Tsongkhapa warned that if we apply ultimate analysis to examine conventional existence, we will wind up undermining all worldly conventions. Fall to a problem because it doesn't count, the morality goes out the window. Therefore, he counseled, convention should not, N-O-T, be subject to ultimate analysis. We'll put that on a billboard in Times Square. Everyone will then know. No. Conventional analysis is used to understand veiled truth and is valuable in doing so. This analysis enables us to know how planets orbit stars and viruses interact with human and animal bodies. It knows what factors are conducive for a functioning society, and it adjudicates disputes regarding property ownership. Everyday worldly logic. No big deal. Valid, useful. However, conventional analysis cannot explore the ultimate nature of any of these things. That's not what it's cut out for. That's not its sphere of authority. Their ultimate mode of existence is known through ultimate analysis. We have to study what ultimate analysis is. We have to get used to it. But the reward is insanely, that's it. You're done. Done suffering. And you can remove suffering from others. So the difficult point, His Holiness continues on the bottom of page 299, is to be able to correctly ascertain the object of negation, true existence. Here we go. Fully negate it and still posit those persons that lack true existence as the accumulator of actions and experiences of results. In short, the understanding of the composite of, number one, the complete lack of true existence, and number two, the conventional existence of persons and things does not occur very often. Understanding, but for this reason, the realization of the middle way is difficult to gain. Is this scaring us off? No, we ought to understand this now. Get the truth. It's going to be hard and we have to understand, but it's not impossible. And what's the rush? We have lifetime, a lifetime or many lifetimes. Get started. Even if we don't understand it fully in this life, we planted seeds. So the next life, planted seeds. So the next life is a lot easier. In the commentary on Bodhicitta, the Bodhicitta Vivarana, Nagarjuna marvels. Those who understand this emptiness of phenomena, yet also conform to the law of karma and its results, that is more amazing than amazing. That is more wondrous than wondrous. Excuse me. Sounds like ad copy, doesn't it? Works for Madison Avenue. More amazing than amazing. More wondrous than wondrous. Available on Amazon. His Holiness continues, page 300. The challenge is to refute without exception all existence from its own side and still be able to ascertain with complete confidence that phenomena exist dependently. Tough one. From their own side, no. Nothing generates itself. Everything is dependent, including dependent on a consciousness naming it, designating the subtle dependence. That's what's going on. A person has no existence from its own side whatsoever, yet still creates virtuous, non-virtuous, and neutral actions, experiences their results, practices the path, and attains awakening. So here's the actual technique that goes on. I got to get this in. We have time. Alternating meditation on emptiness and contemplation of dependent arising will aid in understanding the mutual complementary nature of dependent arising and emptiness. One of the prayers we say to see that emptiness and dependent arising are complementary, not contradictory, stuff like that. The true truths are complementary, not contradictory. I'll read this sentence again because it's very important. Alternating meditation on emptiness and contemplation of dependent arising will aid in understanding the mutual complementary nature of dependent arising and emptiness. Meditation on dependent arising, causal dependence, mutual establishment, and mere dependent designation, subtlest dependency, will lead us to understand that phenomena lack any independent essence whatsoever and do not exist from their own side or under their own power. All right, we do that. Meditation on emptiness clarifies that phenomena exist only in dependence on other factors. Now, here's that Tsongkhapa's Principles of the Path, where he says, realization of emptiness reinforces dependent arising reinforces emptiness, is being explained here. Very important. Meditation on dependent arising. I'll repeat it again. Causal dependence, mutual establishment, and mere dependent designations will lead us to understand that phenomena lack any independent essence whatsoever and do not exist from their own side or under their own power. Meditation on emptiness clarifies that phenomena exist only independent on other facts, but they exist. So emptiness is reinforcing their existence. Very different. In short, the understanding of dependent arising will fortify our understanding of emptiness, and the understanding that phenomena are empty will support a deeper understanding of causal relationships, such as the creation of virtue giving rise to happiness, and the creation of non-virtue bringing suffering. What's more important than that? The mind that realizes emptiness does not understand dependent arising, and the mind understanding dependent arising does not itself realize emptiness. We're doing two different things, right? But, however, and big but, no, however, these two minds can induce each other. There's the connection. These two minds induce each other. You didn't forget what you learned. They induce each other. Then, in the wake of meditative equipoise on emptiness, we will experience illusion-like appearances the real way, and will know veiled truths to be deceptive. Veiled truths is another word for conventional truths. Deceptive in a way, like magical creations, in that they appear to exist in one way from their own side, whereas they exist in another, in a state of dependence constantly. Chandrakirti, in his commentary on Arya Davis 400, says, and we're getting very heavy now, and this is, when analyzed thus, the inherent existence of things is not established. Hence, just an illusion-like appearance remains, left over with respect to the individual things that are analyzed. His Holiness now comments, true existence is negated, and what remains when yogis arise from meditation, meditative equipoise on emptiness, are illusion-like appearances, the real ones. Okay? The I that appears is mere name. So don't get excited. He insulted me, did this and that. That I that you're worrying about, it ain't there. I'm sorry. They tell us that. I think it's there. Don't worry. Don't think that I get aggravated about everything. It's not there. Logic tells us it's not there. Well, how foolish we are. Huh? The I that appears is mere name. It exists merely by being conceived and designated by thought. Sentient beings in our environment exist, but not truly, not as they appear, not inherently. They are empty, but not totally non-existent. Hold on. Very interesting to think of this. And now he's going to quote the King of Concentration Sutras. Probably two reasons. They give us merit by reading it, and the advice it gives. The King of Concentration Sutras said, beings in cyclic existence are like dreams. They are unborn and undying. Okay? Just leave it at that. No sentient beings, humans, and life are found. You could put in there inherent sentient beings, because that's the way we normally think. These phenomena are like bubbles, plantain trees, illusions, flashes of lightning, reflections of the moon and water, and mirages. They're there, they're appearing, but not as solid. So it's like a mirage is a good example of something that appears and yet is not inherently existent. That's all. Mirage, face in the mirror, and all that. So no person who has died in this world passes on or goes to another life. This is very heavy. Actions done are never lost. Oh. And when one transmigrates, both positive and negative effects ripen. Yeah, strange. Actions are neither permanent nor discontinued. Karma does not accumulate or endure. Yet once it's created, never do you meet with its result. Never do you not meet with its result. Please, once it's created, never do you not meet with its result. That goes for positive things too, so don't worry. Nor will you experience the effect of an action created by someone else. Nothing is transferred, nor is it returned. Nothing exists or does not exist. Thus, engaging with views is impure. You're dropping out of the dualistic world, dropping into the world that knows everything. That's that right there with everything. You're a Buddha. Well, close to it. I don't know. Although there appears His Holiness, and it continues now. Until I get my teeth fixed, I'm going to talk like an idiot, but what else is new? Anyway, page 301. His Holiness continues. Although there appears to be truly existent people who are born, die, These are like dreams. When left unanalyzed, they appear, but when searched for with ultimate analysis, they cannot be found. Phenomena are like bubbles, appearing temporarily and disintegrating due to the slightest condition. They resemble plantain trees in that they have no core or essence when the surrounding sheaves are stripped away. They are like magical illusions. He's explaining all these metaphors. They are like magical illusions, horses and elephants concocted by a magician that vividly appear but do not exist. I mean, maybe these days they'll concoct sports cars instead of horses and elephants or trucks. Who knows? Maybe. Phenomena, His Holiness continues, are like lightning, for they appear and vanish in a moment. There is nothing to hold on to. This is good practical advice, by the way, moment by moment, living in the world. They resemble reflections of the moon in water, just as the moon falsely appears to have moved into the water. Truly existent people appear to go from one life to the next. They are like mirages in that they appear to be truly existent things we can use, but are only appearances. There are no truly existent things to use or inherently exist. Use that in the Prasangika school, truly, inherently, are all synonyms. So don't get confused. Despite our inability to pin down phenomena and draw a line around their essence, that's it, pointing out reality. They still function, interacting with one another and giving rise to new things and events. Hey, we buy tickets to them. No. When a seal is stamped on wax, for instance, an image is seen in the wax, though nothing material transformed from the seal to the wax. When a face appears in a mirror, the face did not transfer into the mirror. Without the image in the seal, nothing could appear in the wax, and without the face, no reflection of a face in the mirror could be seen. Things do not arise from their own nature. An inherent, unchanging essence does not continue from a cause to its effect. Things appear due to the coming together of many causes and conditions. Sentient beings are born and die in dependence on many factors, some biological, circumstantial, karmic, and so on. One factor cannot be pinpointed as the one that and only cause of birth and death. There is no truly existent person who came from the past into this life, and no truly existent person who goes from this life to the next. Sentient beings' existence in samsara is like an illusion, Okay. Yet once karma is created, the result will surely come. This dispels the extreme of nihilism. What we do, say, and think matters. It brings results. However, we will not experience the effect of others' karmic actions, nor can the results of our actions be transferred to someone else due to someone else to experience. Yeah, I did this bad thing. Let it ripen on him. Nasty. Actions done do not go to waste. They ripen as pleasant or unpleasant effects in this and future lives. These actions are not permanent. They do not endure without changing until they ripen. There is flexibility in the functioning of karma and its effects, nevertheless. Virtue always produces happiness, and non-virtue consistently leads to suffering. Each action produces potentials, and these potentials continue to change until they ripen. If the cause isn't impermanent, it will be unable to produce a result. This is where emptiness and impermanence tie in a little. No result if the cause isn't impermanent. If it's permanent, they don't do anything. It's static. When the result is present, the cause has ceased. This sounds like, yeah, of course. Think about it. Changes your mind a lot. His Holiness always says, like people say, well, things seem to be random and stuff like that. And I always repeat the same thing. Some quantum physicists that we don't know why this particle does this and that, seems to have no cause. And His Holiness says, no. There's a cause. If it does this sometimes, it's caused. If there was no cause, it would always be there or never there. Life is that way. There's no cause. Everything would be there all the time or never be there. There's causation all the time. So that's important because maybe it'll help adjust our behavior. I'm working on it. When the result is present, the cause has ceased. Karma and its effects are neither truly existent nor totally non-existent. Again, this, dualistic world is transcended here. It isn't. What are they talking about? It's a new way of thinking. It's another system of metrics, if you want to use it that. It's different. We have to come to that point. Then your prayers are really effective. Similarly, the persons who create karma and experience their effects are neither truly existent nor truly non-existent. The Ratnakuta Sutra says, let's hear it for the Ratnakuta. O worthy ones, where are you going and where have you come from? Whence have you come? Worthy ones. Oh, that's me. I don't know. They replied, Venerable Subhuti, the transcendent one has explained things as follows. Nothing goes anywhere, comes from anywhere. Nothing goes anywhere, comes from. Maybe they ride Jersey Transit. Or they're on. Have to be loosen it up a little. Okay. He concludes with these few lines. When contemplated, these verses and passages from the sutras are very powerful. He always advises us, going crazy, read the sutra. No matter what kind of state your mind is in, read the sutra. See what happens. A page, half a page, whatever you can handle. You'll be surprised how powerful they are. Reflect on them when you meditate on the 12 links of dependent origination and on the law of karma and its effects. Doing this will help you cultivate the right view of the complementary nature of emptiness and dependent arising early on in your practice. Again, they're emphasizing this point, the complementarity. Dependent arising and emptiness. Emptiness does not mean nihilism. Dependent arising means things are in flux. They affect this and that, which means there's room for change. A mind that seems so claustrophobic can change. Apply the right cause. That's it. I mean, I need to follow his advice myself. But anyway, so that's the word from His Holiness. We have to. Any names, Darren? No names. So we'll just pray for those people who are victims of the horrible wars going all over the place. I'm so glad that lamas come into the world and help us. Lamas, Buddhist practitioners of all disciplines, and religious people of all disciplines. Where will we go? So it's what is it? Where the hell is it? Where is this? The Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. So we'll say, may they be born at the end. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavata, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He's liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom, Bhagavat, lies in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The Holy Dharma, good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavad teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavad, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely. They enter insightfully. They enter straightforwardly. They enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They're a field of glorious merit. They're completely capable of receiving all gifts. They're an object of generosity. They're a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So our next Dharma class will be next Tuesday, Halloween, in New York City at the University Settlement House. Check our website at 7 o'clock, also online. And next Wednesday, November 1st, I believe, at 7 o'clock here in the parsonage in South Orange, New Jersey. Thank you for your patient listening. Big love to all of you.